10 minutes just sitting down at the table with me sketching it for him.
Okay. So this funny symbol, when we did the other numbers, I'll jump ahead for a second. I can come back and do the second half if necessary.
Okay.
Is a encrypted, hidden blueprint or schematic that needs to be deciphered. I came up with this funny symbol that happens to be the secret of all knowledge. I call it the mathematical fingerprint of God, the symbol of enlightenment, whatever we want to call it. All knowledge, past, present, and future, everything that could ever be comprehended is contained within it. It's the key to the universe. Okay? Anything you want to do with it. It's the magic wand. It's the fountain of youth.
Well, how? Okay, so this is where a lot of people though get lost, because they can accept, okay, this is a mathematical revelation that has happened and that it has implications in the real world, etc. But I don't think that they can say that. I think it's a stretch for many people to say, but therefore it can provide them with any information about anything. In other words, where's the connection between mathematics and just general information, knowledge, for example? In other words, who is responsible for 911? Can it tell me that? You see what I'm saying? Well,
anytime we generalize and say motivation is a very precious thing, okay? It's only a handful of people, a select few in any class, that are going to go ahead and attain new pinnacles of achievement, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Illumination, inspiration are very, very priceless commodities, okay? I took it upon myself, because I have the ability to apply it to different fields of technology, from biology to energy production. It turns out that the level of a civilization is never more advanced than its mathematics. And my view is that our mathematics today are barbaric. Okay. Every mathematician, when I hear on Slashdot or anywhere else that somebody just took pi out to another number or something, I consider it total fallacy, what we're doing today in mathematics, conventional academia. Okay, I consider it truly just completely dead. Okay? The math that I use with numbers expand and contract. They're elastic. They respirate. I was able to discover that numbers have temporal, spatial, volumetric qualities. Excuse me for 1 second. My daughter came storming in. Hello, Venus.
She has to. She comes in during every program that we do.
Wait. You want a boiled egg? I made a whole bunch. They're in the fridge. I'm just waiting for you. Go ahead and help yourself. I think I even peeled them for you. There they go.
Marko, it wouldn't be a show with you if we didn't have one of your girls on the air for a couple seconds.
Yeah, I love them. I started them out tonight. I gave them 3 movies to watch. But I'm a single father, and I had a nanny, but she had to go back to the mainland, so I don't have any child care help. Her sister got sick. But, okay, so all I was saying, very few people listening in the audience are going to experiment and take the numbers further and
but the point that you're just making before a moment ago is that numbers are essentially real. They're not just these abstract thoughts. They're alive in a sense.
Along that line, that's right. Numbers are real. That nature's expressing herself with numbers. I found the missing link between mathematics and physics. Let's talk about what I do best.
Yeah.
What I do best is I teach children arithmetic. Okay. What I discovered is I consider myself the best teacher of mathematics and arithmetic to children and, of course, adults in the world. What I do is I teach the multiplication table. I call it opening up the black hole. It's vortex-based mathematics. We all learned the simple multiplication table, 1 through 9. 1 times 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9. The standard multiplication table. But I have one little caveat. I take that flat table and I warp it and morph it into a donut, okay, into a surface topology with a 3-axis non-Cartesian coordinate system. I obsolete the Cartesian coordinate system. I was able to show that the decimal system, that the multiplication table, is a very elaborate, encrypted 3D XYZ system that I can map all motion, all energy, electricity, magnetism, and the source of it all, spiritual flux, a pulse surge that emanates from the center outwards, is irresistible, penetrates everything, and is the source of all motion and all vibration. To quote the top brain from General Dynamics, who worked with me together as a team member, he said, "What I have discovered is the source of the non-decaying spin of the electron." Now, Mike, to go to what I consider the most beautiful part of my discovery, the most beautiful part of this mathematics, is when I take a quad-ruled sheet of paper and I fill in the numbers into all the tiles, and I show what is called the communicated agitation, that when I show numbers creating waveforms. There's nothing more beautiful than showing how numbers can model all the principles of physics, like Newton's cradle, vibration. Are you familiar with what I'm referring to?
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah.
If I take any number on that toroid skin and I add up all the numbers around it, it will equal that number in the center, its origin.
So let's go back to the children for a second, okay? And explain, I want you to stick along that line and use them to describe more about the torus. In other words, why is this a better way to teach them, first of all?
Well, it's just that, what would be the best way to do it, to explain it? I have, there's an infrastructure, okay? Everybody kind of doesn't have a clue. It's kind of like uninformed of the very intricate. In other words, I'm able to we have Sudoku, we have games today, we have crossword puzzles. I was able to do the greatest labyrinth, the greatest maze, the greatest puzzle, because I pieced the decimal system numbers together, 1 and 4 and 7 and all the different numbers, and I was able to put together into a single geometric model, a coil, where every known mathematical function, every known calculation, where nothing's left out, no omission, and where there's no duplication, no redundancy, I found that numbers were a song. They were a language. Literally, they were the key to the universe. Harmonic key. My gosh,
and again it goes back to the whole business of sounds and words and tone and...
Well, we were talking about doubling, and in the classic musical scale, from C to C to C is doubling. From C, 512, went out to the next C, octave up, 1024. Everything is the same principle. Light is polarized hexagonally, the same principles. Condensed matter physics, magnetic fields hexagonally. It's because spirit pulses in thirds. It's a trinary emanation. Our decimal system is based on the same principle, but I could explain it, but I don't know if I would become tedious.
And this relates back to the 369?
396, 693 when you're modeling the gap space. But 369 is a family number group, 258 and 147, because the greatest distance is 3 and 6. You know, we talk about magnetism cutting electricity, we say it's at a right angle. It isn't. Everything's askew. It's deflected. It's a spiral. So even there's no such thing really as a 180, 45-degree angle when you're talking about motion, because you have precession and warpage, you have spin. So what happens is the 3 and 6, 120, 240, determines the family number groups and the furthest distance between numbers. So 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, 7 plus 3 is 10 is 1. Backwards, 7 plus 6 is 13 equals 4, 4 plus 6 is 10 is 1, 1 plus 6 equals 7. 3 and 6 define a family number group. You have 147, next family number group is 258. 258, right. Again, 2 plus 3 is 5, 5